Hello everybody, welcome to this video. My name is Adrian and I run the blog Tactical Project Manager. And today is a special day because it's the first time I'm doing a video interview. I have a guest, his name is Priyesh. He's from India and he's currently doing his MBA here in Germany. And Priyesh reached out to me a couple of months ago asking for some career advice in project management. And I asked him whether he would be willing to jump on a Skype call with me here that I could share with the community. So he said yes, and that's where we are right now. We're having this call. Priyesh is here. Welcome, Priyesh. Great to have you here. And give us some background about yourself and what you would like to know.
Thanks, Arjun, for the introduction. Hi, guys. I am Priyesh Pathak. I did my bachelor's in India and I worked for 3 years in Deloitte Consulting in Bangalore, India. And my role was basically consulting and related to technology as well. I was a developer and had an experience in testing as well as support. After that, I decided that it was time I changed my stream and get into a more managerial field. So for that, I needed a managerial degree, and I did my research and came to an understanding that Germany was one of the better markets, not only in respect of working, but also in education. So that was one of the reasons why I chose EBS. I'm still studying here. This is my second semester of my master's in business administration. And after I completed my first semester, I got an internship in Allianz Munich. My role was that of a business analyst, and I handled quite a bit of tasks there for around 5.5 months. It was a great experience, very good team members, and definitely a very good company. So by the end of this May, I'll be done with my master's, and I'm looking forward to a transition to a more definite project management role, and that was one of the reasons why I reached out to Adrian, and he agreed to help me on few topics. So here we are.
What is it you like about project management?
I like arranging things even in my personal life, like if it's a trip that I'm planning, or if a group of my friends are planning, I'm always the one who actually ends up doing all the planning, whether it be the finances or the actual route that we are taking, the stops that we are making, right down from point number one till the point we come back. Everything that I do is almost always planned. So it's, and not only this, there are many events that I have organized even in Deloitte and locally where I used to live. My question here was that for almost 40 months, I have worked in business analyst role, and even though I had an experience in project management, smaller tasks, managing teams, and basically doing exactly what a project manager does, but that was back in India. And I would like to know from you, what are the different activities in a project managerial role?
The view that I have of the role of a project manager is very much the role of a team leader or someone who is able to lead and to coach people in a project. Being able to work out a plan for people and to motivate people, to delegate in a good way, and also to be able to sort out problems together with the team. That requires a range of skills, and a lot of this is like in the area of communication and also psychology, having empathy and understanding your team, what they, what motivates them, what are they afraid of, how you can help them, because a lot is like people don't express their feelings and their experiences like openly, so you have to be able to read people in a way. Of course, the planning aspect is very important. So being able to work out a plan for a project, and a project is something which is new. There's no template you can copy, so no one you can just learn from. Every project is unique, so there's a lot of uncertainty, and the project manager has to have the ability and the willingness to say, okay, this is really uncertain for the moment, but I'm gonna work out a plan. I'm gonna make some analysis. I'm gonna talk to people, and I make a suggestion for a plan. You know, it may not be the final plan, it may not be the perfect plan, but this is what I propose. Very important is also the ability to steer and to manage stakeholders. So people with different interests, you know, understanding their perspective, integrating their wishes, their demands into the project. Because what you will notice as a project manager, you have a lot of conflicting interests. Yeah. So maybe one side, maybe the customer wants, you know, a perfect solution, but also you need to watch out for the money. So you cannot spend like endless amounts of cash on a project. So there are a lot of conflicts, and you are at the center of these conflicts basically. If you are in a project manager position, Priyesh, and you are faced with such conflicts, you have no one you can ask. You're on your own, you know. So so you need to be willing, you know, to accept this kind of uncertainty and ambiguity, and come up with an idea and decisions together with your team. Yeah, it's not something you do on your own, but you kind of manage, you facilitate the process. So, and again, there's a lot of talking involved. So talking to different people, you know, listening to what they have to say, and then, you know, making up your mind about this. Is it true what they are saying? Why are they saying this? You know, what's their agenda? And then coming up, you know, sticking to some plan. And that's not easy.
One of the things which I've experienced here as well as back in India was that the point that you mentioned about getting the ideas from different stakeholders and mediating everything. So I have experienced that before. Even here, there were different teams which were involved, and we had to take into consideration everyone's point of view, what each particular team lead from the teams wanted, and it was quite obvious that not everything would have been implemented in the project, but we had to take what was best and what would have been common for most of them. And even back in India, while working for cross-functional teams, we had to make sure that everything was in alignment, and we had to make sure that any future changes were minimal.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the reasons we had to keep on sitting in quite a short period of time, have meetings almost daily, and understand what the whole team, cross-functional teams wanted,
Mm-hmm.
and implement them in our project. So yeah, that was one of the points. And the other thing I would say that even though I had not been a part of handling the finances of any project yet, but there were many other aspects that I did handle, like planning the complexity and allocating the man hours to the resources. So I have definitely had a previous experience on that, and I definitely could correlate to what you were saying. And the good thing about this is that it's not restricted to any particular domain. It's not that I am good only in the IT sector. Maybe if I can manage a project in the IT sector, I can probably do the same thing in a different industry as well. Just getting the knowledge of how the industry works, what is required, I will be able to manage that project as well.
Yes, that's a very good point, because when I decided to get into project management, one of my thoughts was also, you know, in IT you see, you know, jobs being created, but also jobs disappearing.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, a lot of jobs have moved to India, and they are now moving to Vietnam or even further. So for me, it was always important to do something that I know would require skills which can't just be, you know, moved away.
I can talk about one event which comes to my mind, and it's not at all related to my career. It was something which I did locally. I remember back in Mumbai, I was staying in Mumbai, and the locality, it had suddenly started getting a lot of waste. the number of plastic bins that were
Mm-hmm.
being used and disposed had increased exponentially, and most of it was plastic.
Mm-hmm.
So people used to bring in plastic, use it, and then again use the same for throwing plastic, the waste. And there was a managing committee out there for the society, but they did not see much concern about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to them about this issue, and it was a time when I had just finished my higher education, and I was all excited about doing something at least, something good, if not directly, indirectly, somehow. I wanted to actually use my skills out there in the world, and I saw that this might be my opportunity, and I talked to them, but they did not heed anything. So I did a bit of research myself, and gathered few of my friends living in the society. And what we did was we got into talks with one of the contractors who sells huge dustbins, something similar to what's there in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked to the committee, the society committee, and we got a basic understanding of how much of finances could they separate and share with us to implement a small project. We just talked to them and told them that this is something that we want to try it out, and if you can just help us with it. And as we're young, and mostly because our parents were there and they knew that we won't do anything wrong, so they agreed to share the finances with us, and we bought huge dustbins. We planted it everywhere, and we also got those biodegradable paper bins. And we started a norm wherein every month each household in the building, in all the buildings, there are five different buildings, and each household in the different buildings was shared uh, around 10 different big paper bags
Mm-hmm.
for them to throw the garbage in. And that somehow made a big difference in the next 6 months that I was there, till the time I saw. And later on, after 2 years, when I came back, I saw that this had become a full-fledged project, and this had become actually a regular custom there. And they had increased from 10 to now they were actually giving a 30 for the number of days in a month. For every day, they had one separate paper bin. And from plastic, everyone had shifted to this. And the dustbins that we had posted everywhere, strategically in different corners of the society, they were being used properly, and pollution had decreased quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing that actually made me feel really nice, because that is something for which the education is for. It's not just to apply it in some
Absolutely.
company and earn money. So that
Absolutely.
was a different feeling altogether.
That's so amazing.
Yeah.
That's such a great story. Well, thanks for coming to this call. It was really great.
Yeah. Thank you for
Because
inviting me. This was definitely a good experience. I'll reach out to you whenever required. I'll let you know if something happens.
sure. Take
Yeah.
care.
Yeah, you
Bye.
too. Thank you. Bye bye.